Conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, good morning. Any doubts from previous sessions? Okay. So in our last session, we have discussed how do we work with reports to get data from multiple tables. And today we are going to discuss about if we wanted to get data from a single table or multiple tables, but we need only selected fields. We don't need all the data from the table. Then how can we use SAP given function models to display our information? Create a report to display customer sales data. So input is customer country. If user enter customer country, then output we were going to display customer ID and customer name. Along with that, sales order ID, sales order created date. So this is our requirement. This is input screen and this is output screen. In our previous examples, we have seen how do we get entire data from a table using reuse ALV grid display. But now we are going to see how do we get only a selected fields information, not entire information, using reuse ALV grid display function model. So in this case, what we are going to do, whenever user enter data in selection screen, based on that data, first we will go and get the customer ID and name from KNA1 table. So you are going to use a select on KNA1 table to get customer information. So this is first step. And once you have the data of customers, then you are going to select sales data from VBAK table. And here you are going to use for all entries in KNA1 table when you are fetching VBAK. This is data selection. So once you fetch this information, where you are passing this data into an internal table. So first data will be moved to an internal table ITKNA1, and second one which you are moving to an internal table ITVBAK. Now both tables are holding data which you need to display into output. But the thing is, ITKNA1 contains customer ID and name, and ITVBAK contains sales order ID and a date. Now you need data from both the tables. Then what we are going to do? So we will be creating a final table where this final table which is holding all the four columns information. So ITKNA1 which contains customer ID and name, ITBBAK which contains sales order ID and data. And together we need information. So what we are going to do, we will move this data to final internal table, which is nothing but where we have information which we need to display into final. So this is entire thing which is data fetch related logic. And once you have the data, then next you need to call function module reuse ALV grid display to display your information. Now for this function module, you have to provide inputs. Input is nothing but in SAP terminology, it is our function module terminology, it is exporting. Input is nothing but exporting parameter. So what inputs you need to provide for the reuse ALV grid display? You have to provide structure and data. So these are the inputs you need to provide for your function module reuse ALV grid display to display information. So data, which is nothing but where you have your final information, that is IT final. So, but what about structure? Here, the structure which is required, it is a combination of two tables and that two selected fields. Then what we are doing here, structure information we are passing with another internal table. So that is called field cat. So field cat is a internal table which we are going to prepare with the structure information, and with that information reuse ALV grid display which is going to provide a structure and data into grid level. So IT final, which is nothing but the data what we have prepared. But what about IT field cat? So IT field cat also we have to prepare, and basically IT field cat internal table contains column position, field name, cell text, all this information. So in your output screen, in the first column, you need customer ID. Then you have to pass Punar and selection text, nothing but what a text it has to be displayed in the output that you need to pass. And second column, which one? Name. So name one, and this is customer name. And third column, sales order ID, that is VBELN. So you have to pass sales order ID. And fourth column, ERDAT. This is date. So these are the visible information into the output, and this is the table information which your reuse ALV grid display function module which is going to use. And with the help of this information, a function module which is capable to pass the structure information into output and data from your final internal table so that it can able to display information. So in today class you need to focus on this IT field cut because this is a simple data fetch logic. It is very easy and you already know, but the thing is IT field cut, what is this table, how we were going to fill this table, and what is this column field name cell text, and how this information we can provide to this internal table, and this internal table how can we pass to reuse ALV grid display. Those things are very important in this particular class. So let me log in into system and then try to write the code and see how we can achieve this. SC38 is our T code to create a program, and here I am creating a program customer sales order report. Click on create program to get customer sales data, and type of program is executable program. Click on save as local object. Now here first we need a input screen where user can enter inputs. So input screen will be generated using parameters keyword. P underscore land1 type kna1 hyphen land1. Pretty print, save, check, activate. So if I execute, I'll get country, but this is technical name. How can we pass user understandable format name? Go to text elements, selection text. Here, enter proper text and save, activate. Go back. So now we have a proper text where user he can go and enter country information. Now data fetch logic. First we need to get data from KNA1 table. Select. We need only customer and what is the other information? We need customer and customer name. Kunar and name 1 from which table? KNA1, and we need to move this data to a table, internal table, into table IT KNA1. And what is the condition? Where land1, which is country, must be what user entered in the screen level. And pretty print, save. When you do check, what will happen? It says that ITKNA1 is unknown because you have not created ITKNA1. And if you wanted to create ITKNA1 table, then you have to prepare manually. So by using types begin of ty underscore kna1 end of ty underscore kna1, and in this we have to write what are the fields we need. Kunar type kna1 hyphen kunar and name 1 type kna1 hyphen name 1, and this is called user defined data type creation. This is a structure. You are creating a structure with a components kunar and name 1, and where you are going to use this structure, you are going to use this structure to create your internal table using data keyword. Data itkna1 type table of ty underscore kna1. So you are using your structure to create internal table. So we have created our internal table. Now when you do the check, there is no issue. So we have data which is there in ITKNA1 table, that is customer and name. Let me check whether the operation is success or not using size of RC. If size of RC equal to 0, then you have to fetch sales information. Now sales. what is the information we need? We need VBELN and ERDAT when it is created. From which table? VBAK. And where we need to move this data into IT-VBAK. What is the logic here? For all entries in IT KNA1, we need customer related sales, where Kunar equal to IT KNA1 hyphen Kunar. Pretty print. Save. And this is ABAP code, which is usually written whenever you are using a ABAP version which is 7.4 below. Okay, and if your system, if it supports latest syntaxes 7.5, then we have a inline declarations and the way of coding is different. So that things we will discuss in a separate session. And if you understand the way how do we write the code in previous scenarios, previous versions, then in latest version it will be very easy to understand. Okay, and in latest version you no need to spend this much of time. Okay, everything will be created on fly. Those things also we will see in coming classes. For now, just follow the old way of approach to write the code. So this is selection for customer data. This is selection for sales data. But again, IT-VBAK, do we have? No, we need to create it. IT-VBAK type table of ty underscore VBAK. We need to create ty underscore VBAK using types keyword. Ty underscore VBAK and VBAK. So what are the fields we need? We need VBELN. This is from VBAK hyphen VBELN, and ERDAT. This is from VBAK hyphen ERDAT. So pretty print, save, and one more field also it is required to get the customer information. So that is Kunar. So Kunar type VBAK hyphen Kunar. So pretty print, and here also add that field Kunar. There is no issue. So now data fetch is completed. We received data from KNA1 and we received data from VBAK. Now the data is available in both internal tables, IT KNA1 and IT VBAK. But in IT KNA1 we have Kunar name 1, in IT VBAK we have sales order created data. So we need a final internal table, that final internal table which is going to carry all the 4 fields information. So this is our final internal table, and this final internal table which is going to have all the 4 fields. So Kunar type KNA1 Kunar and this one. So this is not required. So this is our final internal table. So you need to create your final internal table. IT final type table of ty underscore final. Pretty print, save. Now your final internal table is ready. It is ready to hold customer sales information. Now you need to pass and fill final internal table. How can we fill? So you need to use loopet IT VBAK into work area VBAK end loop. Now here we need to always loop child table, because for one customer you have many sales orders. Obviously, always you have more sales orders compared to customer data. So in which table you have more data, on the table you need to create a loop. And once you have a loop created on that table, then next thing is you need to read the data from ITKNA1 and then prepare your final internal table. And do we have work area created? No. Let me go and create work area VBAK and type ty underscore VBAK. Pretty print. Now here read table IT KNA1 into work area KNA1 with key. What is the field? Kunar equal to work area VBAK Kunar. So we will be reading customer master data from KNA1 table, and whatever customer we have in sales, that customer related data only we were reading. And once this is success, if size of RC equal to 0, and if now here you have data in work area KNA1. So this information you have to pass to final internal table Punar equal to work area KNA1 hyphen Punar. And similarly, you have to fill final internal table name1 equal to work area KNA1 hyphen name1. So pretty print. But now what is the problem? We don't have work area KNA1, work area final. So let me create here work area KNA1 type ty underscore KNA1. And similarly, work area final type ty underscore final. Pretty print, save, check. There is no issues. Now customer data we have moved to final structure. Similarly, we need to move final structure sales data work area final hyphen VBLN equal to, so sales data you have in work area VBAK hyphen VBLN and ERDAT work area final hyphen ERDAT equal to work area VBAK hyphen ERDAT, and then we need to use append work area final to IT final. So append is the keyword which is used to move data from your structure to internal table, and clear is used to clear the work area information. So pretty print, save, check. For better understanding, place a debugger here and then in the debug mode check what is happening. So we were moving one by one record to work area and we were checking. So this sales order customer related customer data from customer master table, and once we have the customer identified, then we are filling customer data from KNA1 to final and sales data from VBAK to final. And once you have the data in final structure and you are appending that data to internal table, because directly we cannot move data to internal table. So for that, first we are moving data to structure, and from structure to we are moving data to internal table. So if sales you have 100 records, this loop will trigger 100 times and this append will execute 100 times, and 100 records of customer and sales which will go and sit in IT final table. So now data is ready, which is available in ITKN1. Once data is ready, now you can call your function module and pass your data. Reuse ALV grid display. And for this function module, we need to provide input is program name and remove this. And earlier we used to pass structure name, but we were not using this because if we wanted to use structure, then it might be a single table or a global structure is created with these fields. Otherwise, you can go and fill through the program. If you wanted to fill through the program, you have to use an internal table called IT field cat. So this one we need, and remove all other which is not required, and we don't need importing also, and use these exceptions. So now in the output tables, you can pass your data, and this is our program name. Pass this one here, IT field cat. So this internal table we have to fill. Pretty printer. Now when I do save check, what will happen? System it says this IT field cat is unknown because you have not created this and you have not filled information. So how do I create this IT field cat? So if you wanted to create, you need to get the reference from your function module IT field cat. Go inside this, under import, you can see IT field cat. So IT field cat type is what? This is the one. You need to copy this and go back, and here you have to fill your IT field cat internal table. So data IT field cat table. So type followed by your structure, whatever you have in the function module level. Now save, check. Now there is no issue, activate. So this IT field cat, how we have created here by looking at the function module. So inside the function module, importing parameter, you have IT field cat, which is created using type followed by this one. So same way you need to create into the output level if you wanted to use this IT field cat prepared. So now how can we fill a structure information into IT field cat? Excuse me, sorry. So now to fill IT field cat, first we need to pass data to work area, and from work area we need to fill IT field cat. So how do we create work area? A work area field cat type followed by this one same, but you need to remove T. Then this will be structure. Save, check, activate. How do we know this is the structure? If I double click here, you can see sliss underscore field cat ALV is a structure which is created using types begin of and end of. So this one we need to use to create work area, and the above one which is a table type. So types followed by a structure and a type followed by local structure sliss field cat ALV. So whenever any structure which is taken as a reference with the types, then it will become a table type. So when you use table type with addition to type, then internal table will be going to create. I'll tell you what is this sliss and what are these types, type group. information. So for now, this is the way you need to create your internal table. This is the way you have to create your work area. So once you created, you have to fill your work area field cat information first. So what is the information I need to fill in work area field cat? So those things you will get it from your structure. So sys field cat ALV, double click, and if you go inside of this include and main, here you can see column positions, field name, tab name, and cell text, all this information. So you have to fill this information manually. Column position, field name. Go back. Work area field cat hyphen column position. So this is 1, and work area field cat hyphen field name. So field name is what? Field name is Kunnar. For time being, let me get it from another program. So now these are the fields we have to fill. Column position, you need to fill what is the column, first column, and field name. So what is the field you need to pass? That is Kunnar. Always pass capital letters in between quotes. And tab name. So tab name is nothing but your final internal table, and cell text. So cell text is nothing but what you need to display. So customer ID, and append through work area to find internal table field cat. So similarly, for other fields also you have to fill similar way. This is for name one. This is for sales order. This is for created date. And Kunnar name one, and this is second column, and this is customer name. And in third column we are going to display sales order number VBLN, and this is sales order ID, order ID, and fourth column ERDAT when this order is created, and date on which order is created. So these are the 4 columns we wanted to display in output. And your final internal table and your field cat internal table both should match. So first Kunnar, name 1, VBLN, ERDAT. So here Kunnar, name 1, VBLN and ERDAT. So now your final internal table also ready. Pretty print, save, check, activate. Now you can execute your function module so that it can display information. Execute, enter India, execute. Now you can see customer ID and customer name and order ID and created date. So 4 records we are able to see. How do you know this is the correct information? You can verify through manual. Go to S11. First get the customer information based on the customer. So enter customer country, India, and then get the customers list and pass this customers by copying from here to VBAK table. Go to VBAK table and execute, and here you have Kunnar. So pass Kunnar information and execute. Now you can see how many records are there. 4 records, and verify these records are matching with the output. So 32131, 130, 132, 134. So all the records are matching. Hence, our report is working good. And if you see here, I am able to display data, but one thing observed, so there is no color difference between key fields and non-key fields. I wanted to make a color difference indicating what is the key field. So here customer ID is a key field. I wanted to make customer ID as key. Then how can we enable this information in the grid level is you need to pass that information to your work area field cat. So in work area field cat, if you go inside, you have a option called key. So this is the one. If you pass key, then your column with key color, it will be identified. So if you wanted to make any field as a key, then you can come here and fill your field cat work area field cat hyphen key equal to, so this is X. X means you are indicating this is a key field. Activate and execute. Now you can see color difference you can observe here. And if you observe here, I am able to display customer sales information. But if you see customer information which is coming with leading zeros and order information which is coming with leading zeros. So this is not required. So order information directly display as it is. Why you are displaying leading zeros? That is not required, right? So to achieve this, you need to use conversion routines. So conversion routine is a function module which can help us to prepare our data and fill into the final internal table without any leading zeros. So that I'll explain tomorrow. So it will be clumsy. So what we have practiced today, how do we get required fields from tables, and then how can we fill a file cat internal table, because this is the internal table where it will help us to inform grid which column what field has to be displayed, and then we have used grid display and passed our field cat which is nothing but structure, and final which is nothing but data. For better understanding, you have to place a debugger and then execute and then enter information and execute and run manually. So first what we are getting, so p underscore land1, this is country F5. So first we are getting customer data. So for one country, 56 customers are there. Next what we are doing, we were checking whether the data fetch is success or not, and then we are going to sales table to fetch the sales information. But we need only this customers related sales, 56 customers related sales. For that, we are using for all entries and asking system whatever this 56 records we have, this customers related sales only fetch from sales table. So for that customers, there are 4 sales records we have. And what we are doing, so we were looping our sales table and then getting the customer information by using read, and then preparing one by one record, and then moving each record to final internal table. So final internal table which contains customer name, sales order and date information. So this loop will trigger 4 times, and then it will fill your final internal table accordingly. And after fourth time, loop will be ended and it will go to another, because your loop only trigger 4 times because your internal table has 4 records. Now final internal table is prepared by customer master and sales master data. And next, what we are preparing field cat internal table. So this internal table we are filling with column position, field name, table name, and selection text information. So there are 4 columns and we are using 4 times append. Now your IT field cat is prepared. So this IT field cat contains in first column which field has to be populated, and what is that, is it a key field or not, and what is the text we need to pass into the output. That information we are providing. So reuse ALV grid display, it will read field cat data from here and data, actual data to be passed into the output from IT final. With the help of these 2 things, it can able to display data in grid level. Okay, so I'll be stopping with this today. Any doubts so far? If no questions, we can wind up for the day. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Bye.